Who were the first man and woman? The first man and woman were Adam and Eve. Were Adam and Eve innocent and holy when they came from the hand of God? Adam and Eve were innocent and holy when they came from the hand of God. Did God give any command to Adam and Eve? To try their obedience, God commanded Adam and Eve not to eat of a certain fruit which grew in the Garden of Paradise. Which were the chief blessings intended for Adam and Eve had they remained faithful to God? The chief blessings intended for Adam and Eve, had they remained faithful to God, were a constant state of happiness in this life and everlasting glory in the next. Did Adam and Eve remain faithful to God? Adam and Eve did not remain faithful to God, but broke his command by eating the forbidden fruit. What befell Adam and Eve on account of their sin? Adam and Eve, on account of their sin, lost innocence and holiness and were doomed to sickness and death. What evil befell us on account of the disobedience of our first parents? On account of the disobedience of our first parents, we all share in their sin and punishment as we should have shared in their happiness if they had remained faithful. What other effects followed from the sin of our first parents? Our nature was corrupted by the sin of our first parents, which darkened our understanding, weakened our will, and left in us a strong inclination to evil. What is the sin called which we inherit from our first parents? The sin which we inherit from our first parents is called original sin. Why is this sin called original? This sin is called original because it comes down to us from our first parents, and we are brought into the world with its guilt on our soul. Does this corruption of our nature remain in us after original sin is forgiven? This corruption of our nature and other punishments remain in us after original sin is forgiven. Was anyone ever preserved from original sin? The Blessed Virgin Mary, through the merits of her divine Son, was preserved free from the guilt of original sin, and this privilege is called her Immaculate Conception.